After I was kidnapped, my whole family was relieved because the kidnappers had mistaken me for someone else. My sister, who was supposed to be kidnapped, had escaped. When the police rescued me, I was bleeding from almost every pore on my body, but I didn't cry or make a fuss. I developed emotional apathy. I had no emotions and would never be saddened by anything that happened around me again. I was more at ease than I had ever been. But later, they all regretted it and cried, begging me to return to the way I was before. 1. When I returned home from the hospital, no one was there. Even the furniture was gone. Unable to contact my family, I called the family's Aunt Wang, only to find out that they had moved. I went to the address, and the family was already sitting at the dining table, ready to eat. They all seemed a little uncomfortable when they saw me. "Why didn't you say anything about moving?" "It's just that your sister has been having nightmares these past few days, dreaming about being kidnapped. I figured the house might be haunted by something, so we moved." Mom said naturally, as if she were discussing what to eat today, "Your sister is sensitive. It's good you're back, sit down and eat together." All the dishes on the table were Chelsea Shen's favorites. My face was covered with thick bandages, and I walked with a limp, but no one cared. In the past, I would have been very sad. But now, I don't feel anything. My emotions are gone. Seeing me sit down calmly, my sister suddenly leaned over. "I've been so scared these past few days that I haven't dared to go out. That's why I didn't visit you. Dad and Mom were worried that I would be kidnapped too, so they had to stay home and keep me company." "Seven Shin, you don't blame me, do you?" Before I could speak, Dad chimed in, "It's nothing. You're sisters, you should be understanding each other." I didn't know how to react. I was the one who was kidnapped. My sister laughed brightly, "Hee hee, I was just afraid Seven Shin would overthink it." As she spoke, she put a shrimp in my bowl. But Seven Shin has always been independent and much braver than me. I've always envied people with a lot of guts. I silently put down my chopsticks. I'm allergic to seafood. No one at the table remembered. 2. My name is Seven Shin, and I was born on July 7th, a special day, often associated with romance in our culture, similar to Valentine's Day. My sister's name is Chelsea Shin. We are biological sisters, no doubt about it. A fortune teller said that my destiny was not good and that I shouldn't be raised by their side, so my parents sent me to my grandparents in the countryside. Over the years, they hardly ever visited me. They only took me back after the old folks passed away. I came home with expectations, but I quickly realized that this home didn't belong to me. On the day I was kidnapped, Chelsea Shin insisted on walking down an empty alley. After a few steps, she insisted on going to find a restroom herself, telling me to stay put and wait for her. Then, I lost consciousness. I will never forget that memory. So unlucky, worthless thing. The kidnapper's fists landed on me again and again, venting his anger. They had mistaken me for my sister and kidnapped the wrong person. My family refused to pay the ransom, and they couldn't get a single penny. I was starved for 3 days and tortured for 3 days. My throat was hoarse, and I couldn't make a sound. When the police rushed in, the kidnappers were about to take off my clothes. Blood blurred my vision, but I still tried to open my eyes wide and look behind them. No one. None of my family came. I wanted to cry, but no tears came out. The doctor said that I had post-traumatic stress disorder, specifically manifested as a loss of emotion, medically known as emotional apathy. The hospital room was empty. After the police officer in charge of the case left, no one ever came again. 3. The people at the dining table treated me like air. The 3 of them were talking and laughing, creating a scene of family joy. In the past, I would always try to join their conversation, but today I did nothing. "I'm done eating," I casually grabbed the towel next to the table to wipe my hands. "Which room am I staying in?" Mom was stunned, but then she reacted. The other places haven't been cleaned up yet. Seven-shin, don't blame Mom and Dad. They've been too busy with too many things lately. Chelsea-shin pretended to protect Mom and Dad, but she was actually implying that I was being inconsiderate, something she had done many times. I retorted, did I say I was blaming them? Gently putting down the towel, my tone had no inflection. Then I'll just pick an empty room. Enjoy your meal. I slowly walked upstairs, and my parents' conversation reached my ears. Who did she inherit this prickly attitude from? Chelsea-shin, don't take it to heart. Come on, Mom made pigeon soup for you today, you haven't had any yet. Chelsea-shin followed suit, younger sister is probably just scared. Mom disagreed, what does she have to be scared of? Isn't she back safe and sound? I closed the door, blocking all the conversation outside. 4. Noah-shin came back in the evening. He wasn't biologically related to the Shin family. He was adopted by my parents. Chelsea-shin and I called him older brother. I used to dream of having an older brother who would stand in front of me and protect me. And Noah-shin did fit all my expectations of a good older brother, except he protected Chelsea-shin. He was hostile to me, the person who suddenly appeared and took away her love. From the moment Noah-shin entered the door, he didn't give me a single glance, practically writing unwelcome on his face. How could I have been so blind before? Even though he was like this, I always wanted to get close to him, asking him if he was cold, giving him gifts. I envied Chelsea-shin, jealous that she could receive the love of the whole family. But when those emotions all disappeared, these people's actions seemed deliberate and uninteresting to me. I was a little hungry. Noah-shin saw that I didn't take the initiative to talk to him, so he looked at me a few more times. Hey, I don't want your stuff. He took out a beautifully packaged gift bag. I recognized it as the birthday present I had chosen for him. A jade pendant that I had personally polished and made. I had given him many things, and every single one had been returned by him in public. He and Chelsea-shin both enjoyed the process of trampling my pride under their feet. Got it. I wasn't paying any attention to him. The dishes were all set, but I had no appetite. A table full of seafood. There wasn't a single thing I could eat. Just looking at it made the wounds on my body ache faintly. Noah-shin was stunned. In the past, this person would always beg him to accept the gift. How could she be so straightforward this time? Was she playing some trick again, trying to attract the attention of the family? Noah, what did Seven-shin give you? Chelsea-shin asked, but her hand had already opened the gift. What a beautiful jade pendant. It looks like Seven-shin put a lot of thought into it. Noah, you should accept it. Noah-shin pursed his lips. Accept it? Wouldn't that mean he was accepting this person? This was the culprit that made Chelsea-shin feel insecure and cry countless times at night. There's no way I can accept her stuff. Take it back. He looked at me, his tone allowing no refusal. I was hungry and my stomach was hurting. Facing a table full of seafood that I couldn't eat, I just wanted to go out and get something else to eat. Just as I stood up, Noah-shin grabbed my wrist, thinking that I was unwilling to face the situation. Take your stuff away. Chelsea-shin cast a look of amusement. According to the way things used to go, I should be crying. Throw it away. What? Seeing that no one was moving, I took the jade pendant and threw it in the trash can. I said, throw away what you don't want. I'm leaving first. Everyone at the table fell silent. This version of me was too unfamiliar. I ignored them and left the table directly. Noah-shin felt a little uneasy. Watching that annoying figure gradually disappear, it seemed like something was quietly spinning out of control. Chelsea-shin glanced at Noah-shin, her hand holding the chopstick suddenly tightening. 5. I went out and had a great meal. When I got home, Mom and Dad were waiting for me in the living room. "Come here, I have something to say." Actually, I could probably guess what they wanted to say. After I came back, the two of them said very few words to me. The few times they did, they wanted me to go on arranged marriage dates. Money always circulates in the hands of a small group of people, and upper-class families building connections is a common occurrence. However, they didn't want Chelsea Shin to do these things. Moreover, Noah Shin and Chelsea Shin had been together for a long time, and there were signs of mutual affection. They were unwilling to ruin that, so they had been putting it off. However, my return solved this problem. The unloved younger daughter was the most suitable tool. Seven Shin, Zain Yun, the youngest son of the Yun family, has returned to the country. You're about the same age. If you have time, meet him and have a meal together. Mom added, "We were very worried when you were in that accident. We thought if you had a man by your side to protect you, we could be more at ease." I used to refuse these things. These wealthy young men had been living a life of luxury since they were young, and they were involved in many dirty things. Mom and Dad didn't care about my life or death at all, which made me sad for a long time. But it didn't matter now. If I could meet him and shut them up, that would be best. I nodded. "Okay, when should we meet?" It seemed that they didn't expect me to agree so readily. The long speech they had prepared had nowhere to be used. The two of them were strangely stunned for a moment, but Dad was the first to react. "Tomorrow at noon, at Yun Corporation's restaurant. Anyway, it would be best if they liked you, but it's normal if they don't. They're not just any upper-class families." I nodded. The scene fell silent again. "Is there anything else?" "No, nothing else." I got up and went upstairs, my movements crisp and decisive. Dad and Mom looked at each other, and both saw complex emotions in each other's eyes. "I think this girl has been acting strangely lately. Could she be planning something? I'll have the housekeeper keep an eye on her, so she doesn't cause any trouble for the family." Ah, if only she were half as sensible as Chelsea Shin. "How can she compare to our daughter, whom we raised with our own hands?" I chuckled softly. Yes, only Chelsea Shin was our daughter in their eyes. 6. I met that arranged marriage partner one afternoon. Zain Yun leaned against the car window in the driver's seat, smoking a cigarette, but he didn't inhale. He didn't like smoking, but he had to use the smell of cigarettes and alcohol to package himself. After the cigarette burned out, he messed up his hair and got out of the car. And this scene happened to be caught by me. A boy who was beautiful to the point of being unreal, unbuttoned 2 buttons on his shirt and leaned decadently on the seat. "Hello, are you Zain Yun?" I went over to say hello. "Yeah, are you Shin, 7 Shin?" Zain Yun was hesitant. What kind of girl would have a name like that? "I heard you've rejected a lot of people before." "It's not really rejecting. I haven't even met them." He suddenly smiled, "Then I'm truly honored. Miss Shin, what do you think about this arranged marriage thing?" "What can I think? I have a worthless life, and my family controls everything." The kidnapping hadn't spread, but Zain Yun must have known. Hearing this, he looked at me meaningfully. "Miss Shin and I are the same kind of person." He raised his glass, wanting to clink glasses with me. I pushed the glass next to me away. "No, I want to eat first." Zain Yun was stunned for a moment, then he rested his chin on his hand and smiled softly. "Okay, let's eat first then." I sighed. I thought I could meet a fool, but it turned out he was someone with more schemes than a hornet's nest. 7. As soon as I finished eating and separated from Zain Yun, I received a message from Mom and Dad. The Yun family was very satisfied with me and hoped to get married as soon as possible. I miscalculated. I only wanted to find an idiot to cooperate with me so that Mom and Dad wouldn't force me to go on arranged marriage dates anymore. Who knew I would meet Zhang Yun and dig a big hole for myself? I had no emotions, but my reason told me that I should be speechless right now. And after learning that the Yun family really liked me, Chelsea Shin couldn't sit still. She thought she was better than me in every way. Even Noah Shin unconditionally stood by her side. However, if I really got involved with the Yun family, then her sense of superiority would disappear. Therefore, when I got home, I saw Mom and Dad with solemn expressions. Completely different from the joy when they sent me the message, they were now full of anxiety. Chelsea Shin had fallen ill. Noah Shin was originally going on a business trip, but upon hearing this, he cancelled his flight and rushed home to accompany Chelsea Shin. I asked, and I learned that it was because Chelsea Shin had been having nightmares lately. The atmosphere at home was so heavy, as if she was about to die, but it was just that she couldn't sleep soundly. I recalled the scene when I was discharged from the hospital. It was truly the extreme opposite. 7 Shin, Chelsea Shin thinks of almost being kidnapped as soon as she sees you, she doesn't think about tea or food, and she can't sleep well. If I remember correctly, I was the one who was kidnapped. Should I be angry? I didn't know. Now, my heart was like a pool of stagnant water, and I only felt a headache. But aren't you okay? Chelsea Shin is different from you. She hasn't experienced these things since she was little, and she's timid. Why don't you go out and live for a while? Mom continued. I looked at the closed door on the second floor. Chelsea Shin was telling me that no matter what I did, Mom and Dad would always unconditionally favor her. Got it. I walked upstairs. Mom was very nervous. What are you doing? Chelsea Shin hasn't slept for days. She finally fell asleep, don't go disturb her. I pursed my lips, my tone light. Packing. Aren't I moving out? Mom's mouth opened and closed, but she didn't say anything. I quickly carried the suitcase down. There was nothing to take. How I came back here from the countryside, today I was still leaving with what I had at the time. I had already packed these things in my suitcase. Seeing me so straightforward, everyone's expressions were different. I have an apartment nearby, you can live there first. Noah Shin, who was going downstairs to pour water, put the keys on the table. Mom and Dad were both a little surprised. After all, in this family, only Noah Shin completely didn't give me any respect. Noah Shin couldn't explain why he was like this. He just saw that thin figure, carrying a small suitcase, all alone, and suddenly didn't want her to leave. But Chelsea Shin would be scared. So he came up with a compromise. Don't mess with the things inside, don't bring anyone home, you can't keep pets in the house, not even plants, and no need to trouble yourself, I've already booked a hotel. I interrupted him. Noah Shin seemed a little surprised. He didn't expect that I would reject him. If it was the me before the accident, I would probably be so happy that I wouldn't know who I was. But if it was before the accident, Chelsea Shin wouldn't use this reason to drive me away, and Noah Shin wouldn't let me go to his house to live like this. Everything was unsolvable. Noah Shin was visibly unhappy. He thought I was unappreciative. You're really fast. You can't wait to leave. I didn't react to his sarcasm at all, and dragged the suitcase out the door. Noah Shin stared at the keys on the table for a long time, then suddenly grabbed the keys and threw them into the drawer. 8. Chelsea Shin felt that something was wrong. Everyone in the family was absent-minded. Noah Shin said he was working overtime and hadn't been home for days. And Mom and Dad always sighed while eating. Aunt Wang, I've been feeling a little bloated lately. Make me some of the health porridge you always make at night. Mom rubbed her stomach and instructed. Madam, I didn't make that. Chelsea Shin wanted to interrupt, but Aunt Wang had already said, 7 Shin made it. She was afraid you wouldn't eat it, so she said I made it. Mom's face was uncertain. After a long while, she said, then just make me some porridge, whatever kind. I'm going to rest for a while. Chelsea Shin watched Mom leave, followed Aunt Wang, and clamored to learn how to make porridge. In the end, she almost blew up the kitchen. In the end, Mom didn't even get a sip of porridge and had to order takeout. She barely touched it before going upstairs. Aunt Wang told me everything in detail. In addition to that, there were Mom's favorite flowers, which I used to take care of. Not long after I left, Chelsea Shin showed off and said she would help, and all the flowers in the flower room died. Dad's favorite tea ran out, and he couldn't buy it anywhere. He only found out that I had brought it from the countryside. Aunt Wang sent me a lot of messages. I understood that she wanted to tell me that my family needed me. I was indifferent. How come no one realized these things when I was there? Now they remember me. But I didn't want to do these things anymore. 9. I still recommend that you undergo psychological treatment. Your current symptoms, such as a lack of emotional response, sluggishness, lack of interest in people or things, etc., are already very serious. Without intervention, it could very likely develop into antisocial personality disorder. I looked up and met the doctor's eyes. I can't tell, you're quite the professional. Zhang Yan pushed up the glasses on his nose. Not bad. I'm in a good mood today, so I'm working a little harder. I didn't expect to meet him when I came to the nearby hospital for a follow-up appointment. Perhaps sensing my curiosity, Zhang Yan generously replied, "This hospital belongs to my family." I nodded. The air fell silent. I thought for a moment and still spoke. I don't want to receive treatment. As a doctor, I respect your thoughts, but as a friend, can I ask why? I didn't know how he defined this friend, but in the end, I didn't refute him. I don't think I need so many extra emotions. At least for now, having those emotions will only make me more painful. Okay, Zhang Yan wrote the diagnosis results on the medical record. Everything normal. His handwriting was lean and elegant, a bit like the feeling he gave people. If you need anything in the future, you can come directly to me. Thank you. 10. I wasn't surprised to see Noah Shin when I got back. With the Shin family's strength, it was impossible for them not to find me. 7 Shin, come home with me. Mom and Dad miss you very much. Noah Shin got straight to the point. I'm not going back. Why? Noah Shin was anxious. What's it like for you to live in a hotel alone like this? People who don't know would think that our Shin family mistreated you. Isn't that the case? Noah Shin seemed to have thought of something, and his face looked a little ugly. Seeing that he wasn't saying anything more, I turned around to buy coffee across from the hotel. Noah Shin followed. I intended to get rid of him and walked very fast. Careful, before I could react, a car crashed into me head-on. The world suddenly became very slow. The driver was Chelsea Shin. Her face was full of resentment. I clearly saw the shape of her mouth. Die. She said. Out of the corner of my eye, I could see Noah Shin running towards me. Then I lost consciousness. Noah Shin caught up, only to see me lying in a pool of blood. He looked at the person in the driver's seat in disbelief. Pain enveloped him. How could it be Chelsea Shin? 11. The surgery lasted 4 hours. Noah Shin sat on the waiting bench, half of his body numb. Noah, how is she? Mom and Dad rushed over. In surgery. I'm asking how Chelsea Shin is. Mom's face was full of anxiety. Noah Shin suddenly doubted his ears. Chelsea Shin was the one who hit 7 Shin with the car, Mom, and you're asking how Chelsea Shin is? Your own daughter is still lying in the operating room. But Chelsea Shin is also my daughter. At the police station. Why didn't you go with Chelsea Shin to bail her out? Chelsea Shin has been pampered since she was little. She's never been to a place like the police station. I need to contact someone and ask. Noah Shin looked at his parents, who were worried about Chelsea Shin. Memories flashed through his mind. No wonder Seven Shin didn't want to come back. Dad, Mom, Seven Shin stayed in the countryside for 16 years. We never went to see her. The day before she came back, Chelsea Shin suddenly fell ill and cried, telling me that she was afraid we wouldn't love her anymore. We coaxed her all night and missed the time to pick up Seven Shin. Later, Mom, you went out to buy things for Seven Shin, and Chelsea Shin secretly cried and you found out. You gave all the gifts that were supposed to be for Seven Shin to her. Mom was puzzled. What exactly are you trying to say? Noah Shin didn't reply, only muttered to himself, how could I think that Seven Shin would take everything that belonged to Chelsea Shin? We can't even treat them equally. The operating room light went out. I was pushed out, the anesthesia hadn't worn off, and I was vaguely conscious. I didn't know how long it had been, but when I woke up, Mom, Dad, and Noah Shin were all by the bed. Completely different from the experience in the hospital last time. I opened my mouth, but before I could say Dad, he spoke before me. Seven Shin, please help Chelsea Shin. 12. Chelsea Shin was taken back to the police station. After she hit me, she tried to escape, but it was caught on surveillance cameras. According to the law, she committed a traffic accident crime. Mom and Dad begged me, hoping that I would admit that I was planning to commit suicide. As long as I did that, Chelsea Shin wouldn't be at fault in this matter. Cold saline solution was injected into my blood vessels, and my whole body felt cold. You mean, I was hit by your daughter, and I still have to help her get away with it? Mom hurriedly stepped forward and grabbed my other hand, seeming startled by how cold my hand was. I know you're wronged, but Chelsea Shin is your sister after all. Bring her back and you can scold her however you want, okay? I pulled my hand away, every joint in my body aching faintly. Don't even think about it. Seven Shin, not only will I not speak up for her, but I will also personally sue her. Mom stood up abruptly. Seven Shin, you dare. What's all the noise? The patient needs to rest. Unrelated personnel, please leave. Mom left with Dad without looking back. Noah Shin left a sentence, don't take their words to heart. You can do whatever you want, and hurried after them. I saw that in his hand, he was tightly clutching a jade pendant. It was the one that he had returned and I had thrown away on his birthday. The doctor approached me. Does it still hurt? Can you still move? I said unhappily, is your hospital so short-staffed? Why is the psychiatrist in charge of the surgical ward? Zayn Yun took off his mask, revealing that exquisite face. I'm telling you, you're really something. I helped you get rid of people, you don't even thank me, you're just snapping at me. What a bad temper. He moved closer and stared at my face for a while. Fortunately, your face is okay. I see you're also very accident-prone. You just got out of the hospital a few days ago and you're back in. Are you trying to get my attention by deliberately finding opportunities to come to the hospital? Get your head checked. You're quite warm, and you care about my condition. He took the medical record from the head of the bed and looked at it for a long time, then sighed. I knew that I wasn't too seriously injured, but being injured one after another would definitely have a significant impact on my body. Take good care of yourself. You can't eat anything that promotes inflammation, and nothing cold, so troublesome. I complained. Zayn Yun didn't speak, only looked at me resentfully. Me? Zayn Yun, I really don't know what to do with you. Me? It wasn't until he brought me food in a thermos at night that I understood what he meant by that sentence. For 2 days in the hospital, Zayn Yun brought me food 3 times a day. He said that he was saving lives and healing the wounded. Your sister has been charged. I drank my porridge. You seem to care about her quite a bit. I heard what your parents said that day. This morning, they tried to get your sister out. My hand paused. Yeah. I put her back in. My brain glitched for a moment. Huh? We good-for-nothing illegitimate sons are like this, spending a fortune for a beauty. I almost forgot that he was the young master of the Yun family. The Shin family won't let her stay in there for too long. They'll definitely get her out again. It's okay, then I'll just put her back in. Zane Yun said it easily, as if he was playing some game. Hey, when is the trial? Do you need me to find you a capable lawyer? I have a lawyer. I don't think yours is very good. Really, it's not necessary. I poked the porridge at the bottom of the bowl. How could he not be good? Mr. Zhao was a close friend of my grandparents back in the day. Okay, if you have any difficulties, look for me. I'm a white-clothed angel. I ignored his bad joke. Zane Yun wasn't a fool. There must be another reason why he was helping me so much. I asked the question. The smile on Zane Yun's face faded a little. Do I have to have some ulterior motive? I thought for a moment. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. He seemed a little disappointed. Okay, I have an ulterior motive. What do you want me to help you with? I didn't like owing people favors. Zane Yun cleaned up the dishes I had finished eating and winked at me. I'll tell you later. 13. Soon, the day of the car accident trial arrived. On Chelsea Shin's side, the Shin family was all there, and they had brought 2 lawyers, a grand and imposing sight. Compared to them, Mr. Zhao and I seemed weak and isolated. After the court rules were read out, it was time for the plaintiff to state their case and the defendant to respond, followed by the presentation and examination of evidence. Chelsea Shin's lawyer confidently claimed that I had suicidal tendencies. The plaintiff grew up in the countryside and was estranged from her dad and mom, while my client has a very good relationship with her family. The plaintiff once tried to repair her relationship with the Shin family, but closeness isn't something that can be achieved overnight. Over time, the plaintiff felt hopeless about family affection, and the Shin family favored my client, so the plaintiff became jealous of my client and finally went to extremes, attempting suicide. He really knew how to talk nonsense. It's true that I was treated coldly in the Shin family. It's reasonable to have suicidal thoughts if I were emotionally fragile. But what he doesn't know is that I'm no longer the person who would be saddened by my parents' favoritism. I have no reason to commit suicide, I replied calmly. You're jealous that dad and mom love me, that's the reason, Chelsea Shin interjected. I'm not. How could you not be? I often saw you crying secretly at home. Chelsea Shin was determined to pin the suicide attempt on me, saying everything that came to mind. She didn't notice at all that the Shin family's expressions became very serious when she said that. I looked at the judge. I was diagnosed with emotional detachment disorder last month. The whole courtroom was in an uproar. Everyone's face showed shock. Envy, jealousy, sadness. I don't have these emotions. I feel nothing about the Shin family's behavior. Mr. Zhao spoke, Your Honor, the defense has evidence. The staff quickly brought over the medical record. I lowered my eyes. Zane Yun had gotten it for me yesterday. 7. Why didn't you tell us? Noah Shin broke down. You really don't feel anything, haha. Feel nothing. Chelsea Shin suddenly laughed. Judge, order. The whole case was very simple. Confirming that I had no suicidal tendencies would basically determine Chelsea Shin's guilt for the traffic accident. Chelsea Shin looked at me with a venomous gaze, wishing she could strangle me on the spot. In the end, she was sentenced to 1 year in prison, suspended for 1 year. 7 Shin, you're good. Chelsea Shin's face was very ugly, even though she didn't really have to go to jail if you looked into it, she still had a criminal record. Compared to her, mom and dad's expressions were much more complicated. 7. It's come to this point, let's just let it go. Chelsea Shin tugged hard at Mom's arm. But Mom continued to speak on her own. What family doesn't have small conflicts? Now that Chelsea has been punished, come home with Mom. My lawyer took out a document, Mr. and Mrs. Shin, this is the agreement to sever ties prepared by my client. Please take a look. If there are no problems, you can sign it. 7. What do you mean? What it says. I don't want to be your daughter anymore. Why does it have to be this way? 7. Is there anything that can't be resolved between family members? Don't be stubborn. 7. Is there anything we've done wrong? Can Dad and Mom apologize to you now? Chelsea Shin pulled Mom away. Mom, what are you doing? She wants to cut ties, just let her. Shut up, Noah Shin rebuked. I took off my coat directly, revealing a backless tank top underneath. Turning around, my back was full of scars. I heard someone gasp. Some of these are from being beaten after the kidnapping, some are from the car accident this time, some are deeper, some are shallower, but what they have in common is that every single one hurts. 7. I didn't bother to look at everyone's expressions, my eyes fell on the agreement. I have indeed lost my emotions, but I haven't lost my sense of pain. These scars hurt a lot on rainy days. I don't mind your favoritism, I don't mind that you don't love me, but I don't want to suffer for no reason. I've already signed it, please hurry. Saying that, I packed my things and prepared to leave. Chelsea Shin had a hint of excitement mixed in with her hatred. Think carefully, without the identity of the Shin family's daughter, you'll be worthless. The Yuns won't let you in the door. I glanced at her, isn't that what you want? You humph, 7 Shin, we'll see. Chelsea Shin had a victorious smile on her face, as if she could already see me being disliked by the Yin family without the Shin family's identity. Mr. Zhao argued with the Shin family parents for a long time, and finally Noah Shin made the decision. The Shin family still signed. Mr. Zhao handed the documents to me. Well, my mission is complete. I haven't let down your grandpa and grandma. Just live a good life from now on, child. I held the light papers, but they felt incredibly heavy, heavy enough to finally drag my wandering self to the ground, free to run. I was no longer anyone's daughter, I was just myself. 14 Yun Corporation. The Shins have severed ties with 7 Shin. I've arranged for you to meet the Chin family's daughter, go see her this weekend. Zane Yun frowned, I won't go. I must marry her. Then you won't have me as a father. Fine. Zane Yun walked out of the company gate, there was a clear handprint on the right side of his face. But his expression was very relaxed. How did it go? Yeah, the old man kicked me out, the shares, the company, I have nothing to do with them anymore. Then you can start your plan, congratulations. I was Zane Yun's legitimate reason to leave Yun Corporation. He wanted to extract himself and then send the Yun family in to break rocks. You're a ruthless person too. I sincerely admired. Zane Yun's mom was killed by the Yun family. From the time he could remember, he had decided to take revenge. In order to collect enough evidence to bring down the Yun family with one blow, Zane Yun had been in hiding for 20 years. Now that Mr. Yun was old, he wanted to leave him some shares, but he didn't even bat an eye, determined to take down the Yun family. What? I'm just a pure young man eloping for love. Zane Yun rubbed the right side of his face, tilting his head. You were smiling just now, weren't you? Are you mocking me? No, you saw wrong. I picked up the water glass, covering the corners of my mouth. You definitely smiled. Boring. Hey, boredom is also an emotion, right? Right? Get lost. I denied it verbally, but realized in my heart that I seemed to have broken free from some kind of restraint. Those lost emotions were all slowly returning. 15 in less than a month, Yun Corporation collapsed. The behemoth that had been entrenched in the city for many years suddenly crumbled. Along with it went several other upper-class families that had been dependent on it for many years. This included the Shin family. Overnight, the company went bankrupt, the factories closed down, and the residences were auctioned off. The originally high-ranking rich people became no different from ordinary people. This was nothing to ordinary people, but for people who were used to a life of luxury, it was like going from heaven to hell. Chelsea Shin cried, wanting to keep those skirts and bags, and Mom couldn't bear it. Why don't we just leave her a little bit? Dad looked 10 years older than he had a month ago. Do you think I can bear it? But if we don't auction these off, where will we get the money to pay the fines? The high fines for economic crimes, coupled with the bankruptcy of the company, meant that the Shin family couldn't make ends meet even if they emptied their savings. Yun Corporation was probably even worse off. Zhang Yan didn't show any mercy. Noah Shin left, without taking anything. No one knew where he went. He sent me a message before he left. Only 3 short words. I'm sorry. He had some luck, just escaping the disaster. But his luck was also very limited. Because Zhang Yan had already found his address yesterday. For some reason, Zhang Yan seemed to hate the Shin family. 7 Shin. Chelsea Shin discovered me, her voice shrill. What are you doing here? You jinx. Everything changed since you came home. I hate you, why aren't you dead yet? Dad and Mom grabbed her and covered her mouth. There was fear in their eyes as they looked at me, and many emotions I couldn't understand. Is there something you need? Just checking on you. Mom's expression had a hint of emotion. Just checking on your misfortune. I completed the sentence. Chelsea Shin pounced on me. Shut up, you bitch. She rolled around on the ground, crawling towards me, Dad and Mom struggling to pull her back. This was the first time I had seen her in such a disheveled state. Mom hesitated for a long time, but still opened her mouth. I know you hate us, Tears streamed down her face, unable to say a complete sentence. Hate? Before the kidnapping, I only felt sad. After the kidnapping, I had no emotions. Now, looking at them, I only felt fortunate. I'm glad I didn't grow up in a family like this. I'm glad I met the best grandpa and grandma. You guys just live your lives. I turned around and left, getting into the Maybach parked on the side of the road. The Shin family stood on the side of the road, their eyes complicated. Happy? Satisfied? Zhang Yan fastened my seatbelt for me. Not bad. He leaned in and kissed me. How about now? I raised my hand. See this hand? I see it. It's a little itchy right now. After saying that, my hand was about to fall. Zhang Yan grabbed it. You're